Imagine this. Tonight, you'll close your eyes. Your bedroom will disappear. And without realizing it, you'll step into a world where the impossible feels completely normal. You might find yourself walking through your childhood home, talking to someone who passed away years ago, flying over an endless ocean, or running from something you can't even see. What's strange isn't the dream itself. What's strange is that while it's happening, you almost never question it. No matter how bizarre it becomes, your brain accepts it as reality. Then you wake up. Within seconds, the entire world begins to fade. The people disappear. The places vanish. The conversations dissolve into fragments. And before you've even finished your morning coffee, most of it is gone forever. So here's the question. Why? Why does the most sophisticated object in the known universe, your brain, spend nearly every night creating stories that vanish before breakfast? At first glance, dreams seem like random entertainment, a strange movie your mind plays while your body rests. But what if that's completely wrong? What if dreams aren't a side effect of sleep, but one of the main reasons sleep exists in the first place? Because here's something most people never realize. You don't dream once a night. The average person experiences between 4 and 6 dreams every single night. Over the course of a lifetime, that's well over 100,000 dreams. An entire hidden life that almost nobody remembers. Now think about evolution for a moment. The human brain is incredibly expensive. Although it makes up only about 2% of your body weight, it uses roughly 20% of your body's energy while you're awake. Nature doesn't waste that kind of energy. If dreaming served absolutely no purpose, millions of years of evolution would have had every reason to get rid of it. But it didn't. Instead, dreaming exists in virtually every person across every culture through every generation we've ever studied, which suggests something extraordinary. Dreaming isn't a bug, it's a feature. A feature so important that your brain refuses to give it up. But understanding dreams wasn't always possible. For thousands of years, people believed dreams were messages from gods, warnings from spirits, or glimpses into the future. Some civilizations treated dreams as sacred. Kings delayed wars because of them. Entire religions were shaped by them. Then science arrived, and everything changed. Or at least, we thought it did. Because the deeper scientists looked into the sleeping brain, the stranger the mystery became. In the 1950s, researchers noticed something unexpected. People who appeared deeply asleep suddenly began moving their eyes rapidly beneath their closed eyelids. Back and forth, left and right, almost as if they were watching something. That stage of sleep became known as rapid eye movement, REM sleep. But the real surprise came when researchers measured brain activity. Instead of slowing down, the brain became astonishingly active. In some regions, it looked almost as busy as it does when you're fully awake. Your body was completely still, yet inside your skull, billions of neurons were firing, building worlds, creating conversations, inventing impossible realities. And that discovery raised an even bigger question. If your brain is working this hard while you're asleep, then what exactly is it doing? Because whatever the answer is, it's something your mind has been doing every single night since before you were even born. For decades, scientists believed dreams were nothing more than meaningless noise, random electrical signals firing through a sleeping brain, like static on an old television. It sounded reasonable until the evidence started telling a different story. Because the more researchers studied sleep, the more they realized something surprising. Dreams weren't random. Patterns began to appear. People learning a new skill dreamed about it. Athletes dreamed about their training. Musicians dreamed about music. Medical students dreamed about anatomy. Even people playing a video game for hours often found themselves playing it again in their dreams, almost as if the brain refused to stop working just because the body had gone to sleep. Imagine your brain as the world's busiest office. Every single day, it's flooded with information. Thousands of faces, hundreds of conversations, new names, new places, new emotions. Every sound you hear, every mistake you make, every joke that makes you laugh, every embarrassing moment you'd rather forget. Your brain records all of it. Now imagine if none of that information was ever organized. Your mind would become chaos. Important memories would be buried under useless details. Finding anything would become harder and harder. So what if sleep isn't simply about resting? What if it's your brain's night shift? A time when no new information is coming in. No phone notifications, no conversations, no distractions. Just enough silence for the brain to begin sorting everything it collected during the day. Researchers have found something fascinating. People who sleep after learning new information usually remember it better than people who stay awake. It's as if the sleeping brain is deciding what's worth keeping and what's safe to throw away. Not every moment deserves permanent space in your memory. The color of a stranger's shirt, the 10th advertisement you scrolled past, the license plate of the car in front of you. Most of those details disappear, but the important moments, the ones connected to emotion, to learning, to survival, those often stay. And dreaming may be one way your brain strengthens those memories. Not by replaying them exactly, but by rebuilding them, mixing them, connecting them to older experiences you've had before. That's why dreams rarely make perfect sense. Your brain isn't showing you a recording, it's making connections. Imagine opening thousands of puzzle boxes and trying different pieces together. Some fit, some don't. But every attempt teaches your brain something new, which explains something almost everyone has experienced. Have you ever struggled with a problem all day, given up, gone to sleep, and somehow the answer appeared the next morning? It feels almost magical, but your brain may have been working on it the entire night, without you even knowing. Then researchers discovered another clue. Dreams become especially vivid after emotionally intense days. A stressful interview, a painful breakup, the loss of someone you love, a life-changing decision. It's almost as if the brain isn't just organizing facts, it's organizing feelings. And that's where the mystery becomes even more interesting. Because if dreams are helping us process emotions, then they aren't simply stories. They could be one of the most important forms of emotional healing we experience. But if that's true, why do nightmares exist? Why would the brain create fear when we're supposed to be resting? The answer turns out to be far stranger than anyone expected. Let's talk about something almost everyone has experienced. You're running as fast as you can. Something is chasing you. You don't know what it is. You try to scream. Nothing comes out. You try to move faster, but your legs feel impossibly heavy. Then, just before you're caught, you wake up. Heart racing, breathing fast. Your room is safe. Nothing is there, but your body still believes the danger was real. Here's the strange part. If dreams exist to help us, why would our own brain create something terrifying? For a long time, scientists couldn't answer that question. Then a fascinating idea began to emerge. It's called the threat simulation theory. The idea is surprisingly simple. Imagine you're a human living 20,000 years ago. There are no cities, no police, no hospitals. Every single day, your survival depends on one thing: making the right decision at exactly the right moment. A single mistake could cost you your life. Now imagine your brain had a way to practice dangerous situations without exposing your body to any real danger. You could rehearse, fail, learn, and wake up safely in your bed. That's exactly what some researchers believe nightmares might be. Not punishment, not meaningless fear, but a survival simulator. A virtual reality program designed by evolution. And when you think about it, it starts making sense. Many of the most common nightmares share the same theme: being chased, falling, getting trapped, losing someone, being attacked, showing up completely unprepared. These are all situations where quick decisions matter. Your brain may be asking, if this ever happens for real, what would you do? Of course, not every scientist agrees. Dream research is still full of unanswered questions. But here's something we do know. The emotional centers of the brain, especially the amygdala, become highly active during REM sleep. The amygdala is deeply involved in processing fear, stress, and emotionally significant experiences. Meanwhile, the part of your brain responsible for logical reasoning, the prefrontal cortex, becomes less active. Think about what that means. Your emotions are turned up. Your internal fact checker is turned down. Suddenly, the impossible feels completely believable. That's why you can be having dinner with Abraham Lincoln on the moon while your childhood dog is driving the car, and somehow none of it seems strange. Your emotional brain is leading the experience. Your logical brain is taking a break. And that's also why dreams often feel more emotional than real life, even when the story makes absolutely no sense. But then there's another mystery, one that completely changes the rules. Because every once in a while, something incredible happens. You're dreaming, and suddenly you realize, wait, I'm dreaming. And from that moment, everything changes. You don't wake up, you stay inside the dream. Except now, you're aware. Some people fly. Some explore impossible worlds. Some confront their worst fears. Some even practice real-life skills. This phenomenon is called lucid dreaming. And for neuroscientists, it's one of the most fascinating states of consciousness ever discovered. Because for a brief moment, you're asleep and awake at the same time. But here's the question that keeps scientists awake at night. If the brain can create an entire universe, one so convincing that you completely believe it's real, then how does your brain know that your waking life isn't just another convincing reality? And that question leads us to the deepest mystery of all. What if dreaming isn't just about sleep? What if it's about consciousness itself? Think about this. Every single night, your brain creates an entire universe. Not just images, an entire reality. It creates people, conversations, cities, weather, memories, even the feeling that you've been there before. And while you're inside that dream, you don't question it. You don't stop and ask, wait, none of this makes sense. No, you accept it completely. Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. How do you know you're not doing the exact same thing right now? This idea has fascinated philosophers for centuries, not because they believed life is a dream, but because dreams reveal something extraordinary. Your experience of reality is created inside your brain. Everything you see, everything you hear, every color, every sound, every emotion. Your brain is interpreting signals and building your conscious experience. During the day, those signals mostly come from the outside world. At night, the brain generates many of them internally. That's why dreams can feel just as real until you wake up. Now here's something even stranger. Have you ever had a dream that solved a problem? Maybe you woke up with a new idea, or suddenly understood something that confused you the day before. You're not alone. History is full of stories like this. The chemist August Kekulé described a dream that inspired the ring-shaped structure of the benzene molecule. The inventor Elias Howe struggled to design a practical sewing machine. According to his later account, a dream helped him notice where the needle's eye should be placed. Whether every detail of those stories is perfectly accurate is debated. But the bigger point remains. Dreams can combine ideas in ways your waking mind often doesn't. Because while you're asleep, the brain isn't following its usual rules. It can connect distant memories, mix unrelated experiences, build impossible scenarios. Sometimes, those strange combinations become creative breakthroughs. That's one reason many artists, scientists, writers, and musicians have kept dream journals for centuries. Not because every dream contains a hidden message, but because occasionally a dream reveals an unexpected connection that your conscious mind never considered. And then there's another mystery. Some people dream in vivid color. Others mostly dream in black and white. Some remember dreams almost every morning. Others swear they never dream at all. But sleep researchers believe almost everyone dreams. The difference is whether the brain stores those dreams long enough for you to remember them after waking. It's like trying to remember the last conversation you had 5 years ago. It happened. Your brain simply decided it wasn't important enough to keep. Which raises another fascinating question. If you forget almost every dream you've ever had, how much of your life has quietly disappeared without you ever realizing it? That's a strange thought. Thousands of stories, thousands of emotions, entire worlds experienced and then erased, as if they never existed. But before we end, there's one final question. A question that doesn't just change how you think about dreams, it changes how you think about yourself. Because what if dreams aren't showing you another world? What if they're helping create the person you become? So, after everything we've learned, why do we dream? The honest answer is, we don't fully know. And that might be the most fascinating part of all. Science has uncovered pieces of the puzzle. Dreams appear to help strengthen certain memories. They may help process difficult emotions. They may allow the brain to rehearse threatening situations in complete safety. They may even encourage creativity by connecting ideas that seem unrelated. Each of these theories is supported by evidence. But none of them explains every dream. Not the nightmare that wakes you at 3 in the morning. Not the dream where you're talking to someone you've lost. Not the impossible places that somehow feel familiar. Dreams remain one of the last great mysteries of the human mind. And maybe that's because the brain isn't trying to tell a story. It's trying to solve thousands of tiny problems all at once. Imagine a giant orchestra warming up before a performance. Every instrument is playing something different. It sounds chaotic, but underneath the noise, something important is happening. Preparation, adjustment, connection. Perhaps dreaming is something similar. Not a movie made for you to watch, but a process that allows your mind to become ready for tomorrow. Think about who you were 5 years ago. Your memories have changed. Your beliefs have changed. Your fears have changed. Even many of the cells in your body have been replaced. Yet somehow, you still feel like the same person? What if sleep and dreaming are part of the invisible process that keeps your sense of self connected as you continue to change? Not by preserving every memory, but by weaving your experiences into one continuous story. A story you call me. There's another strange fact. Before you were born, you had no memories. One day, your brain slowly began building a model of the world. Every experience, every conversation, every mistake added another piece. Every night, while you slept, that model was updated. Quietly, without your permission, without your awareness. And after thousands of nights, it became you. Maybe that's why sleep is so essential. It's not simply the absence of wakefulness. It's an active part of becoming who you are. So tonight, when you turn off the lights and close your eyes, remember this. Your body may be resting, but your brain is about to begin one of the most complex biological processes known to science. It will replay, reorganize, reconnect, imagine, create, and perhaps understand things that your conscious mind couldn't. By morning, you'll probably forget most of it, just like you always do. But forgetting doesn't mean nothing happened. Sometimes, the most important changes are the ones we never notice. So, the next time you wake up after a dream you can't quite remember, ask yourself one question. Not, what did my dream mean? But, what was my brain trying to do? Because somewhere, between memory, emotion, imagination, and consciousness, lies an answer we're still searching for. And maybe, tonight, your brain will search a little more. Sleep well, and if you dream, pay attention. You may not remember the story, but your brain probably will. What was the strangest dream you've ever had? Tell me in the comments. Because the next breakthrough in understanding dreams might begin with someone's story.